All right, man. Oh, we lost your HG. Something happened to your camera.
Oh no, no. Are you serious? I'm not on?
You on, but it's just real fuzzy.
Oh no.
The preview looks fine, but
Yeah, the preview looks great.
something is not as clear as it was a week ago. Well, we no, it's gonna clear up at some point. This is the 1585 show. We're on the air as the draft has consumed us this evening. Mac and I are both Eagles fans, I'm pretty sure. Mac has an opinion on our first round pick. I'm pleased with the pick. Tonight's topics: Reggie Bush gets his Heisman back. Your thoughts on that? The draft. Did your team pick the person that you need them to pick? Are you happy with your pick? Are you happy now? And our favorite topic for all sports are the refs ruining the game.
That's what they do best.
That's Mac. I'm AC. This is the 1585 show. Let's introduce ourselves with our OG introduction. All right, man. We back in the mix. How's it feel to be back in the saddle? How's your week going, my man?
Week is good. Nothing too crazy at Crenshaw. We got a day off in the middle of the week. We had yesterday off, so I got a chance to sit around and relax and do a little housework. You
A,
know,
a
drop
day
my daughter
off?
and her friend off.
A
Yeah,
day
we
off on a
observed.
Wednesday.
Yes, we're observing the Armenian genocide. We're observing that. So we gave our Armenian population in a school district a break to reflect on, that moment, a bad moment in history, and
Mhm.
we took the time out to go ahead and honor that.
All right. Well, shout out to Crenshaw High for doing something good, recognizing the
Oh,
people.
LAUSD. Oh,
Oh, the
LAUSD.
entire LAUSD.
Entire LAUSD.
Well, I was at a symposium yesterday, and there were several LAUSD staff, so they didn't have a day off. They
Yeah.
working, but going to a symposium is not the same as dealing with some kids. I got Queen Elaine in here. Hey, she said howdy, y'all. But she's really
Hey,
Texas.
Elaine, how you
She
doing?
she really is Texas now. I got the sauce man, Rodney Saucier, old man Rod in the crib. What's going on with
What
you?
up, Rod?
Uh, so this week, Reggie Bush was, would you say, reinstated into the family of the Heisman Trophy. I mean, after 14 years of exclusion, of being erased from the history books, and everybody's either in an uproar or very pleased and saying it's about time. What would you say about the whole Reggie Bush Heisman debacle?
I made a post on Facebook. Was it Monday? I want to say when I found out that he was getting it back. It's not a welcome back or that he got it returned to him. He never lost it. He won that on the field. He did what he did. What it was is the NCAA has always fumbled the ball, and what they always do on selective enforcement. They know things aren't going well around the country, but they chose USC of all places to go and do their selective enforcement. They said it was a lack of constant control of the institutional control. So they took his Heisman and they took away one of their national titles. So what I want to know is, are you going to give him back the national title? Or are you going to give that because this is the reason why they lost it was because of Reggie Bush? So are they going to give SC back that title? So I'm glad he got it back. He deserved it. He was by far the most dynamic and best player in college football, despite if he was getting paid on or off the field, which we're quite sure a lot of the people who have won Heisman's have had their palms greased at some point during their college career. But once again, the selective enforcement, I'm glad he got it back. I'm not a big SC fan, as we all know, but I am a big fan of Reggie Bush, and I'm a fan of the history of the game. And you can't erase him from the history of the game because he was such a dynamic player, and he did so great to represent the NCAA and college football at the highest level that you could possibly represent it at.
I always thought it was hypocritical for the NCAA to bring down the hammer in a situation, because what was the accusations that his parents got a place to stay, an apartment or a house or whatever it was, and
Yeah,
$250,000. And yeah, at the time it was against the law or the rules of the NCAA, and then you fast forward till today and it's the wild wild west. But I know for a fact he was not the first player in the history of NCAA football to be given extra benefits. It's just he happened to get caught because I believe his agent was not happy that he did not either go with that agent or whatever it was. It was a whistleblower. And it just seems like when you see it happening and it's pretty obvious that it happens, I believe, case in point, Cam Newton was under investigation during the SEC, championships, or was it the BCS? It was around BCS time where
it was the SEC. It was the SEC championship. Yeah.
ACC championship, and they were like, well, his stepfather's church was funded by boosters and all this money here and there, allegedly, and he should have sat out the championship game because the investigation was still going on. However, it's the SEC, and the SEC says we make more money if Cam plays in this game than if he sits. So they made sure that went away. And I was like, that's just been happening since the beginning of time. You go back to the SMU death penalty when Eric Dickerson and all them guys were getting, cars and money and Jerry curls and, gazelle glasses. But, it's just you said selective policing. And to make Reggie Bush the poster boy for, don't cheat. This is what happens to you. And then right around the same time that OJ passes away, it's just everything just be lining up with the universe for certain
Kind
things.
of ironic.
But why now, all of a sudden? And I believe Rodney said Jim Tressel wants all the Ohio State stuff back. Well, Ohio State was doing some stupid stuff too. It was Ohio State
They were
guys,
trading in rings for tattoos.
rings for
They was doing some
tattoos,
great stuff.
free stuff, the
They were
free
doing
gear
great
they were
stuff.
getting. It was going, well, we did that. We took our Reebok stuff back to the Reebok store. I'm going to get us on probation. UCLA retroactively go on probation because we were taking all our free stuff back to the Reebok store and getting the things that we wanted. It's crazy, but what do you say to the people who are in an uproar and are upset and angry that Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman back?
Deal with it. That man, I mean, you know how it is to be a starving student athlete, man. You
Starving.
know, not having, you got training table, unless you lived in the dorms, you don't have the meal plan. But UCLA wasn't paying us the cost of living at the time
Nope.
if you lived off campus. So we were some starving students, man. Thank God I had some really good friends, Cam, T, and Mina. They cooked big meals and invited us over to eat and stuff like that. But if it wasn't for them, I'd have starved 60% of the time. So these guys, they got it right finally that these guys can make money off of their likeness and get paid to be a college athlete. But it's the wild wild west right now, and it's going to get bad before it gets better. They need to find a way on how to kind of limit this, or where they can spread this not evenly, because some players do deserve more, but spread this to where some guys aren't living like kings on campus and their teammates are starving, unless these are some really good quality guys and they're spreading the wealth and spreading the love with their teammates. But a lot of times I doubt that they are, because they're taking care of family members, probably bills that have been paid up from paying for all these camps to get seen, paying to go and play on these 7-on-7 teams that their parents have depleted, savings and stuff like that to get them these opportunities. So I hope that these young men are paying people back to have sacrificed to get them there, because we all know economically nowadays, to be seen. You got to pay for camps. You got to pay to be on these 7-on-7 teams and travel and stuff like that. So it costs to be the boss, as they would say. And these young men are getting paid or reaping the benefits of their commitment and that opportunity because the NFL isn't guaranteed. There's thousands of young men are out there, and it's only a few draft choices and a few spots on NFL teams. So some of these guys have been grinding since they were like 8 years old, and then they get to today, draft night, and some of their dreams are going to be dashed. So if they got some NIL and they got a little money in their pocket, 50, 60,000, 70,000 that's put away in the bank, some of them are going to even make, close to $1 million or upwards to $1 million. They can put that money away, man, and they don't have to worry about, man, maybe I should go to this camp and try to make this team. You know what? I got this money. Let me, start on my economic portfolio and I can build something for my family based off of what I did at the college level. So, but the Reggie Bush thing, I still really think that people should just deal with it. That man deserved every penny, whatever that agent gave him, because that man was must see TV every weekend.
Yep.
Every weekend he was must see TV, and he was so dynamic. I mean, I'm watching him, and I'm like, dang, that dude. I wish he would have been a Bruin. Imagine having him and Maurice Jones-Drew in the same backfield at the same time. That would have been crazy. So, deal with it, man. That dude deserved all of that. And it's sad that we're just now getting to this point that we're going to reward him.
Somebody asked me, with the way things are now, do you believe you deserve or should receive retroactive, not NIL in particular, but the benefits that you were all not afforded to when you could have had your hands out, your palms up, and receiving nice little, because, we had our moments in the sun where we, could have been compensated for our play, but we weren't. So I was kind of like, the sacrifice that we made, Ed O'Bannon and Ramogi Huma, who were leading that push to get, some money for us to be on the video game, whatever the initial case was, that kind of stemmed the laws and policies to where we are today. Do I want some retribution, or do I want some kickback? I'm like, at this point in time in history, it's like you said, get over it. I would rather see my people get reparations for slavery than I would for what we got for playing football at UCLA. I mean, yeah, it was tight. Yes, it was tough. We were living off peanut butter and Gatorade for a long time, and top ramen when the commons were closed, or late night going to puzzles and you couldn't afford wings. Times was rough as a student athlete, but that kind of made us who we are. So I'm kind of like, I'm glad we got what we got. We were able to rough it a little bit, go live in the hood and share an apartment with your teammates, and you kind of saved your rent check money because you partnered up and had roommates, and we made do. And now it's different, but it's even harder now because schools are now in position where they can actually let kids go, because they now have the leverage to say, hey, if kids can leave and go get money, we have to make room for kids who are going to be here and can help us win now. So it's a really, really tough time for a student athlete. So I hope they get all they can, but at the same time, there has to be some type of limit, because right now it is pretty much up and down and all over the place. But, Reggie Bush being who he was, again, he didn't cheat on the field. He didn't take steroids, and he didn't, wear extra long cleats to give him an advantage. He got some of the same benefits some of the players we know around the country get, where you say, what made him go to Alabama? And then you kind of think about it. Oh, and then you think about, why did Nick Saban retire so abruptly? Oh, he can no longer be the only person paying kids, so now he can't compete. Oh, so that dynamic is right in your face. So I'm happy Reggie got his Heisman back. Even like you said, I don't care much for SC, but right is right. He didn't cheat y'all on the field. He gave y'all some very good moments, and he did lose to Vince Young in Texas in the national championships. I was very happy with that.
Yes.
Never lost. We got some comments in the comment section. Let's see. Ronnie Saw said they don't penalize the SEC and the Big Ten. Well, thank God we're going to the Big Ten.
Yeah, so we won't get penalized.
Michigan was flat out cheating with a spy and they got a slap on the wrist and still win the national championship. Did you see the Michigan games sold out every time they played? There's some big bucks going on. Elaine said my mother kept my dorm fridge stocked from Navy commissary, plus the dining hall. Food for me was never a problem. You lucky. We was struggling.
Lucky.
We was struggling. Peanut butter and was it Rip Fuel? What were we drinking? Gator Fuel.
Gator Fuel, it was something, man.
It was
Shoot, I used to
terrible,
know.
man.
I used to try to know the people on certain days that work the dorm, the cafeterias in the dorm, so I can get in. But like, hey, what's up, man? Oh, Jimmy Mac, man, come on in, come on eat. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to swipe my card because there was nothing on the card because I was off
Always all
campus.
out.
So yeah, man.
You remember that one chef
Yep.
we had in
So yeah, man.
Remember that one chef from Sunset Village? He looked like Gangstar from he looked like Guru from Gangstar. He was light
Yeah,
skinned. Remember him?
yeah. He's trying to get us to eat healthy. Eight
Yeah.
whites.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
make it
yeah.
8 whites. Tell us what to eat. Give us a
Yeah,
meal plan.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that dude. Ronnie says, I was at Howard starving like a cartoon. What? Starving like the
What?
cartoons. I guess that's hungry. I guess that's hungry.
Yeah.
Rio in here. Yeah, we back, man. Where you been, Rio? In Chi-Town. Chi-Town in the house. I remember saving my meal money in Hawaii to buy t-shirts and cheap gold chains. Oh boy.
Oh, who said
Elaine said that.
that?
See, Elaine was buying some stuff she didn't even need. I didn't have a bed half my sophomore. You didn't have a bed, Rodney? Man, you was
Dang,
struggling.
Rodney, you sleeping on the floor?
That's why I pulled my daughter out of Howard. Living conditions, man. They put you out
Was
after your
that bad,
freshman year.
AC?
Your freshman year, they treat you pretty nice. And then your sophomore year, they said you're on your own. And then they stopped my daughter's film program. So we had to just get her up out of there, man. She's graduating from LMU. So I'm very proud of that. Next week,
Okay.
Loyola Marymount graduation. One
Right
down and
on,
one
right
to go.
on.
Elaine said, I was cooking home cooked meals on a hot plate like you was in prison. Like
Did you
Tupac.
make spread, Elaine?
He
Did you
made
make spread?
Frito chips and
In the top
top
ramen?
ramen, the little seasoning, and some cheats. You crush up the Cheetos and put them inside the top ramen bag, and you use a paper bag and iron it. Made you a
Hmm.
nice little meal. That's terrible, man. Rodney said when Woody Woodpecker would be starving, he would chase the others with a knife and fork. Oh yeah, that's hungry. I remember that episode.
Oh, that's Star. That's cartoon Star.
That's
He was
hungry.
becoming a cannibal, Rod. Rod trying to become a
Which
cannibal.
cartoon was that where the homeboys would see each other as hamburgers and hot dogs? What cartoon was that? I
I
remember
don't know. I
that.
think that was probably a Bugs Bunny cartoon or a Daffy Duck because it probably
Yeah,
was Daffy Duck.
start looking at your
He showed up
friend.
selling slanging Acme products, and then they started
Yeah.
cooking.
He
Yeah,
said, "Man, you look like a hot dog." She said she would cook spaghetti and steaks. Steaks? Man, you were doing well.
Elaine was living good. Elaine
Steak.
was living
We
good.
didn't say steak to a training table, and that's only when we were 4-0. When we started losing, you start eating. We started eating worse. Like we started eating like Costco pizza. If you started losing. All right, man. So Reggie got his Heisman back. Good for him. Good for USC. UCLA. Nice transition. The first defensive player taken in today's draft was Latu
Yes.
Latu from UCLA, defensive end, edge rusher. Finally, it was 15 picks in. What pick was
Hmm.
he? It was like I had to text my son mid-draft, "Hey man, we gotta move to offense because they don't care about defense
Played some
anymore."
tight end.
Yeah, because you can't tackle and hit
Can't
no
tackle
more.
now. Yeah. So
Which-
offense is way more important. The team with the most weapons gonna win.
Man, so the draft is first round is pretty much in the books. Anything that jump out to you?
I'm still a little disturbed by what the Bears did. I don't see where Caleb Williams is a upgrade from Justin Fields. I don't see that because Justin Fields is now a veteran. He had been around in the league. It wasn't that he was playing bad either. The Bears is just a bad team. He was. You got to remember the man ran for what 1,200 yards and threw for like 3,000 the previous season. But we can't work with that. So they're gonna go get a guy who's less mobile, who has just as strong of an arm, who's gonna have to learn the pro game. Yeah, you surrounding him with more weapons, but he's going to have to learn a program. And if you think that he's going to be C.J. Stroud, I don't think so. When you see Stroud play at Ohio State, it was just different. Williams is more try to make plays. He tries to be dynamic every play. Where Stroud was just like make the dump off, make the quick throw over here. He was reading the defense. And I seen Instagram post today with Stroud talking offense and just explaining how he can kill a defense. He was going against Michael Parsons, and they were picking their teams, and they were going to fourth and 3. That's what we'll do. And I was like, man, look at the knowledge on this cat. You know what I'm saying? Look at this guy. You can tell that he studies. He's in there. So you're banking on that Caleb Williams is going to become that. And so far, what we've seen out of the Oklahoma quarterbacks that are coming into the league, yeah, they're having some success, but they're also having some things that is not right. Like Hurts has had a good season, then he's had a bad season. Kyler Murray's had a good season, he has a bad season. Our guy that's in Tampa right now, Mayfield, has some good season, they have some bad. So they're very inconsistent in a pro game because things came so easy in that offense that they ran to Oklahoma and now at SC. So I'm still disappointed in that. I like the Eagles pick. I'm loving that Eagles pick. We need DBs. We needed a corner. We need a guy.
A mature
only
corner.
thing I don't like is that, yeah, the only thing I don't like is that he did play at Toledo, and he probably didn't go up against top-notch quality receivers every week, but they said he balled out in a Senior Bowl. So he went up against the top of the top, and he had a great Senior Bowl. So I hope that translate not in just I did this for this weekend and dominated this area, that can be consistent through the season. That he can become and develop into a great corner for our team. I like the Chargers pick at the line. That means that they're keeping Herbert, even though I'm not a big fan of Justin Herbert, but I'm glad the Chargers picked the lineman. One of the things the Chargers do struggle with was linemen. So I think they're going to get receivers later on, since we got rid of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Mike Williams was always hurt, so getting rid of him wasn't that bad. So those are some of the things I didn't. I also didn't like Michael Penix being drafted so late. I thought Michael Penix was the best thrower of the football in the draft. I know he lacks a little bit of mobility because of the 2 torn ACLs, but the guy just his arm talent and how he puts the ball in the perfect spaces for his receivers, I thought that was something that you can't teach. And once he develops, man, that dude can be another Warren Moon. I think he can have that type of career.
Well, I was looking at Michael Penix Jr.'s workouts, and they showed him run the 40. And I know a 4.4 when I see one. I don't think that was a 4.4, but it still looked good. It looked, he looked fluid. He didn't have a hitch. He really ran really smooth. But them lying about him running a 4.4, was unnecessary. Somebody believed it because they drafted him as high as they did. And the Atlanta Falcons, of all people, who just paid Kirk Cousins. So I'm sure Kirk Cousins is a little bit dumbfounded. I'm sure the doctors report with that Achilles is probably why they drafted Michael Penix so high. Because prior to the draft, they had Michael Penix go in the second round. Mm-hmm. But the media bolstered up all these quarterbacks like we haven't seen every draft in the last 20 years. The top 3 quarterbacks, only one of them pan out. It's just not science. It's just, I like this kid and we hope he's successful. You said, Caleb is not much better than Justin Fields. We won't know. He might be. Last year they said he was Patrick Mahomes. This year they're saying he's Justin Fields, but they could throw us a little bit better than Justin Fields. We won't know when he gets there. I was talking to a guy off the cliff who's a Chicago Bears fan. He's like, if we draft Caleb Williams, we're going to be right back where we might be worst because the kid is a diva and he doesn't know what he wants in life. I said, that's because the media painted him that way. You don't know. Let the kid give the kid a chance.
Yeah.
We thought Bryce Young was going to be the next, best quarterback in the league when C.J. Stroud passed him about, because he had a better situation, even though it was the Houston Texans, who on paper should have been terrible. I can't name one Houston Texan receiver, but them dudes ball out. They catch every ball. But it's a scouting world when it comes to the draft. It's up to your scouts after the obvious picks are gone. I'm loving the Eagles pick because we got to get Bradbury off the field. I don't like to see anybody lose their job, but my man is just no longer going to be a good fit for what we're trying to do. So, and then we have those 2 other young corners in Ringo and Ricks. But, if you got a guy as mature as Quentin Mitchell, I think we're in a good spot in the cornerback area because now, again, they didn't draft any linebackers and safeties in the first round, I don't believe. It's either you're going to disrupt the pass by rushing the quarterback or disrupt the pass by knocking the ball down as a wide receiver and a cornerback interaction with the ball. It's a different game, so you draft differently. Offensive linemen go. We didn't see any defensive tackles. I mean, come on, like that's the bread and butter of any defense is the D line.
Yes, most
I
definitely.
I was very shocked at that, but again, every year is a little bit different. This year was very offensive, offensively heavy. And then, are we really going to count on a 20-year-old, 22-year-old kid to change the fortune of a franchise? I don't think that's fair to a young guy.
Yeah, especially if you don't have enough weapons around him, especially not a good O line. I mean, the Bears, one of their problems was O line play, and I know they added some receivers, and I think they added a running back too during the offseason. But I mean, you don't want these kids to not pan out. What I'm saying, because you don't want to hear this. Was he the biggest bust? You don't want to hear that.
No,
But I just thinking that the Bears are taking a step back to think that they're going to take a step forward. Justin Fields, like I say, he was one of the odds to win the MVP last season, but it
hmm.
was just that the Bears were just not a very good team. So you just gave up on them like that. Like, oh no, we can't do that. I think the Steelers got a great deal by picking him up and Russ. He gets to learn a little bit from Russ, and and as I was telling the Steeler fan today, he's a parent of one of the young ladies on our softball team. Um, he was like, I don't know, and I said, look, when the play breaks down, Justin Fields can turn into a play himself. So that's what you kind of want in this modern day era when you got edge rushers running 4-4-4-3 or 4-5. You want somebody that can get out of dodge and make a play, because that keeps them honest. That's going to really keep them honest. So um, we'll see, man. This draft, like you said, defensive players, they have to wait till 15 to grab one, and it was an edge rusher. They drafted one D tackle, was Byron Murphy Jr.
Hmm.
Out of Texas. He went to the Seahawks. Seahawks, they probably understand like, hey, we can't push the middle, we can't push the pocket. Um, we're gonna be stumped. Or a team that wants to run the ball a lot.
Right
I mean,
down your
like the
throat.
Ravens, you play the Ravens and you ain't got no D tackles that can stop the run. Now that they
Long,
got
long day.
Jackson and your big boy
Derrick
from
Henry.
man, it's gonna be a long day for you. So
Long day.
yeah, it's gonna be a long day. So I guess tomorrow we're gonna see a more defensive players coming
Yeah.
off the board. But yeah, it was all about offense today.
Are scouts not doing their job? Are they just letting Mel Kiper Jr. Dictate who they believe is going to be a good player? Because it seems like the obvious choices are being made even after the first five. Like when the five top cream of the crop go, now you got to get what you need and what you've looked at and what you've scouted. And then you see a team jump up and get a player that says is the best available player and they grab the best. Do teams benefit or is it more detrimental to the team when they just draft the best available player, knowing they have needs?
I would think that sitting in your war room, as they like to call it, you just draft your needs. I mean, I don't care if I got the first pick. If I need a center in the moment, I'm grabbing that center. And people like trade down because they got to get paid in this slot and that slot. I don't believe in that, man. I don't want you to draft. I want you to get better. I want my team to get better. I'm not in the business of saying, okay, this guy should move up. If I got the first pick, because if I trade down and somebody take the pick that I wanted, that was stupid on me. I'm gonna stay put. I'm gonna grab me. It's like a Jonathan Ogden. Why wouldn't you take Jonathan Ogden second? You know what I'm saying? Like, probably the greatest lineman ever. Imagine the Ravens said, "No, we're gonna trade down because somebody else deserved to be put in that spot." No, they went and got who they got,
That
and
was the
that's what you
best.
want to
Yeah.
do. You want to get the guys who you got. So what you got to come out the pocket. That's an incentive for that player to show that he was worth that second or third pick or the first pick. You can't just say, "Oh, quarterbacks belong in the first spot." The team that needs the quarterback the most should get that because that's what it seems like doing. Teams are trading. And I know you're probably getting draft capital back, but no, I want players. I don't care what another team if they're improving or not. That's not my business. My business is I want to improve my team. I'm gonna take who I want at the spots that I got them.
With Denver taking Bo Nix, and Bo Nix played what 7 years of college football? Was it 6 or 7 years?
I thought it was 10 because didn't we play against him when he was
It felt like he
at
been
Oregon?
It just
Yeah.
it just it just felt like he couldn't go pro because he was never going to be a good pro. He just stayed in college because it was rosy. Like you getting paid NIL money.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go over here and get this money. Let me go over here and get this money. And all right, now I've maxed out my COVID year, so now I have to go pro. And they bring him in to, I guess, battle against Zach Wilson. I'm sure he can beat out Zach Wilson, but last year they made Zach Wilson out to be this
He
next.
should be able to.
But Sean Payton thinks he can make something out of. I think Bo Nix is a good quarterback. He carved up UCLA. I'm not sure if that says a whole lot,
Mm-hmm.
but we've seen him play pretty well. But again, why is a kid in college so long? So, I don't know, man. But the draft is what it is, and it's all great. It all sounds great. I mean, with Marvin Harrison Jr. going to Arizona, does that going to make Kyler Murray a better selection for what they paid him, and having weapons and all that stuff? It's all just speculation. It's all just scouts and GMs trying to put together the perfect storm. Since Ozzie Newsome put together that Ravens team with Jonathan Ogden and Ray Lewis, we haven't seen the mastery. I mean, our
Yeah.
own Eagles GM is, Howie just paid AJ Brown all that money and Devontae Smith all that money last week. So we got our receiver core solidified. Now we're trying to get our secondary solidified, but now we got to fill that hole at center and defensive end and defensive tackle. So we still got some holes to fill
Mm-hmm.
in the later rounds. If we
Mm-hmm.
can get some people. Hey man, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back after these messages.
Hello and welcome to the Edge of Greatness. My name is Charles Schultz and I'm excited to have you here. Come join me each week as we dive into what it truly means to unlock your full potential. Many experts like to claim that if you do this one thing or you do that one thing, that you'll find greatness. It's all about discipline. It's all about resilience. It's all about habits. I'm from a different school of thought. It has been my experience that greatness requires a more holistic approach. It's not just one thing, but 7 things working in harmony to create the full potential that you have. What are those 7 things? Purpose, mindset, resilience, commitment, discipline, courage, and people. Come join me each week to discover how each of these pillars plays an integral part in your success in discovering who you are meant to be. Hope to see you there.
You're watching the exclusive sneak peek of NGBN TV. Like never before, streaming content for men is now available, with more to come. Join us on this journey as we introduce you to content creators and shows that are here to inspire, educate, entertain, celebrate, and support men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. We can't do this without you, so please enjoy this sneak peek, but also share it with your friends and family, and help us connect with companies, organizations, brands, or nonprofits who align with our mission to save men's lives. This is the NGBN TV Sneak Peek.
All right, Mac, we back. So the draft is a draft. The NBA is on tonight. And it looks like the Lakers are going down 0-3 to the Denver Nuggets. Don't look good
It
for
doesn't look like it. That's what's happening.
it.
That's what's happening.
It's going down. It's 107-98. 35 seconds left in the fourth quarter. I just saw the sports judge, Jonathan Mathis, say this is destroying LeBron's legacy. I don't think so. I think we know who LeBron is, and this is
Nah.
who he is. He's a great, top 5 great, and the team is a team. Lakers get swept. Does that change anything?
No. It shouldn't change anything. I mean, LeBron is nearly 40 years old and he's still playing peak level. He's still a top 10 player in the league currently, at 39 years old. It's not killing his legacy. I think what it is that you just have a lot of grown men who've seen this guy and he's lived up to every expectation that there was about him coming out of high school, that he was going to be the chosen one, the king, and all that. He may not be to a lot of people, but to become an all-time, if you're in the top 10 of all time in NBA history, that is saying something. And then he solidified that. Getting swept doesn't mean nothing. I mean, Jordan in his last years didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, he was with the Wizards, and people are like, well, the Wizards now, they had Stackhouse and they had Rip Hamilton. So he had guys on the team too. We know who AD is. The fact that AD is even playing, he's not hurt right now, is a testament to something. D'Angelo Russell couldn't hit a cow on the ass with an ironing board right now. He's 0 for 7 shooting, and he just stopped shooting. He just said, forget it, I'm done. So if somebody wants to detract his legacy of what's going on right now, a man who's been to 10 finals, won 4, lost 6 to some really great teams. It wasn't like he lost to bums. He lost to really great teams.
He lost to plumbers.
You just really want to say that he's not good enough. And, that's your prerogative. But if we're truthful, we're looking at a top 10 talent of all time in the NBA history, however way you have him ranked. I got him top 10. Because it's hard to put him in the top 5 with so many greats that have come before him. So I don't think it's taken away from his legacy at all.
If he was on the verge of eclipsing Magic, Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, this ain't helping, but it ain't hurting either. I think he is where he is for most people. Rio says, I'm sorry if I'm not on subject, but I'm furious with the tight end pick. Edge rusher or top corner on board, and we get a tight end. That's why we stay losing. I guess he's talking about that Raiders pick. You got
Brock Bowers, but Brock Bowers is good.
Great pick. He's a receiver. He's a receiver. He just named him tight end because he's a tight end. He ain't blocking nobody. He's going receiver. He's playing receiver in today's receiver tight end era. He's the next Kelce. Yeah, Travis Kelce. Mike, sweet brother Noomsy Mike said the Lakers are getting swept. Wow. He just got home. Caleb isn't an upgrade. Fields can't read the field. It was like a bad team. I think Fields would be fine in Pittsburgh underneath Mike Tomlin. D'Lo having the worst game in his life. Well, at least it ain't the closeout game. That's good. At least it's not that. I got big Rudy Campbell in here. What's up, my brother from another mother? Chargers should have went receiver with Allen gone and Williams ducked out.
But Nick Van Exel said 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
1, 2, 3 Cancun. An oldest voice. Minnesota about to be mad at that boy. Drafted McCarthy. Do you think McCarthy's going to be something? I mean, shoot. The media made him out to be better than all 3 of the top 3 picks.
Yeah, McCarthy is he'll be a game manager, but from what I hear, Justin Jefferson is on the block. I hope they don't trade Justin Jefferson. If you're going to bring in a rookie quarterback, you would hope that the best receiver in the league is still on your team. So
you asked the star receiver.
I would keep him. I would pay him what he needs.
I asked my star receiver, who do you like to keep you on board? Like before you jump off the bridge. What do I need to do to keep you in the house? Who would you like? Who you want to go play catch with in the back? I don't know. Rio said, I'm very shocked Atlanta drafted Penix when they just got Cousins. I just knew he was going to be a Raider. So upset right now. Don't be so upset. NFL scouts don't know what they're doing half the time. Lane said Lakers can't buy.
I'm telling you, they don't.
Are buckets on sale? Ray Booker in here. I appreciate you.
If it is, they can't afford them. They can't afford him.
Got to cut some guys. Rio, even Atlanta didn't get him. He would have lasted to number 13. James said Harrison was the steal of the day. Harrison to Arizona.
Could be.
As receivers, what do you think about Worthy from Texas? I think he's Tariq Hill part 2. We'll see.
Well, we're going to find out. We're most definitely going to see about that. Tariq Hill was something special once he got the ball in his hand.
Yeah, he was tough.
His explosion and his toughness was unmatched. He almost had the same toughness as Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Remember Steve Smith? Yeah, Steve Smith would get the ball and he was punishing people.
And Steve Smith is tough on a microphone too. Like he's bound to say something crazy every show.
And ain't nobody gonna stop him either because he's gonna go in the booth and be like, hey, you can't say that, Steve.
He was on the show today. I'm watching the pre-draft show, and he was like, somebody said so-and-so McCarthy. McCarthy said, man, he's going to be trash. I was kind of like, whoa. He totally threw everybody out for a loop. He said, dude's going to be out of the league in 2 years. He was just saying some crazy stuff. And I say that's going to keep him on the air because he's speaking from a place of knowledge and experience. He's like, no, I've seen guys
Mhm.
like him before. When the lights are on, he's gonna fold up. I'm like, yeah,
Like I said, you don't want to see those young men do that, man. You don't want to see. I mean, I don't want JJ McCarthy to have a great career because he don't play for the Eagles or Chargers, but I don't want him to be a bust
a
either.
bum.
I don't,
Yeah,
I don't,
he'll be
I don't want him to be a
fine.
bum. I mean, look, JJ. Here's a advice. You see number 18, just throw the ball to him, dude.
Just throw it to him. Don't be no defense reader.
60% of your passes go to him, man.
Come out in doubles.
I swear,
Come out in
it'll
doubles.
save you a drive.
And motion the slot receiver to Justin Jefferson's side away from him, so he's 1-on-1, and that's where you gotta go. And that's where
And you also got Jordan Addison. He also has Jordan Addison, so he has a good
Awesome.
receiving core. He
Yeah.
got some guys, so he should be all right. But I just don't see. I wouldn't have put him there. I'd have
Right.
drafted the Penix probably. I'd have got Penix was already taken, right? I'd have got somebody else. I don't know about JJ McCarthy. His arm talent didn't seem like it was elite.
No, he didn't have to throw the ball. Michigan ran the football 85% of the game. Rio said he wanted the quarterback in Vegas. Well, you got to deal with who you got back there right now. Soldier Field is the worst stadium in the NFL. I was there last summer. Yeah, I got burnt at Soldier Field a few times. And Fields had absolutely nothing to work with. Nah, he still ran for 1,500 yards, though. Miss Mack said Raiders, and she said Steve Smith Sr. I'm sorry, I got it right. Really hope the Raiders get Worthy in the second round. I'm high on him. I thought Worthy went. I saw his name across the ticker. I must have been reading something else. All right,
Who?
man. Worthy from Texas. I thought he went to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, he went to the Chiefs. Yes,
Yeah, he gone.
he went to the Chiefs.
You
Maybe
gotta-
already went to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get the next fastest guy, right? So last subject of the night, since we got Rodney Sassi on here, who is a ref, who did ref at Soldier Field. We saw the Sixers and the Lakers a few days ago have to watch some whistles being swallowed in the crucial moments of the game. And I don't cry too much about officiating. I know you are more animate because you recently were the head coach and you recently, have coached different sports and different, the girls and boys side. So you're a little bit tougher on the refs. Are referees ruining sports? Are referees playing too much of a role in the outcome of contests, in your opinion?
It's tough to say. I know I'm pretty hard on the refs, but when I'm actually coaching, I don't ride the refs. I don't get on them like that. I will say my criticism until after the game when I sit back and I think about it. But when we're watching on TV and we're seeing just terrible calls being made because we can see that in real time with all these different camera angles and all that stuff, I just think that at times they're not very consistent, which makes for bad TV because we all can see you being inconsistent or we can see you making biased calls for superstars. I mean, I had a guy tell me, well, Caitlin Clark deserves the ability to push off because she's so great. But that pushing off is what's helped making her great because if I can't guard her and she could push me off or I get too close on her and crowd her to keep her from pushing me off, I get the foul or she gets away with the push. So the refs aren't ruining the game. I think a lot of times, I mean, Rod can correct us all on this. And it's probably more so at the highest level where there's TV ratings and money to be made. There are meetings and agendas being, hey, you're not going to call the whistle that much on Michael Jordan, okay? You're going to let Jordan get away with this. You're going to let Kobe get away with this. Magic goes to the lane even if he's not touching. Go, you're just going to give them the free throws, man, because we want our stars to be stars, and that's what's going to keep bringing people to the game. And also the drama brings people to the game. When people see these outlandish calls and stuff like that, they want to see it more so they can say, see, look, I told you. They cheating for that guy or they cheating for that team. The Patriots was the best at it. The Patriots can go 3 games without a penalty flag being thrown at them. You'd be like, hey, hold on. Everybody else getting penalties. Or Tom Brady gets pushed and it was roughing the passer. So, the refs aren't ruining the game. I just think that there's a lot of that goes into it. And we also have to understand the refs are fans too. It's not like it's some guy that's like, man, I just need a job. I'm going to go ref. Oh, there are people who are invested and they're interested in the game too. And they even though they won't admit it, there's certain styles of play that they want to see or that they are more prone to call more fouls or less fouls or more holding penalties and less holding penalties or more penalties, period. Or there's some refs that be like, man, I don't see no blood. Hey, it didn't affect the play, man, keep on playing. So there's just the inconsistencies of it, from game to game or, depending on who the officials are. So I don't think they're winning the game. They're just a part of the game now. I mean, you can still fuss at them and get mad when calls don't go your way, but they're just still part of the game.
In my opinion, sometimes they're too much part of the game, even in like sports like boxing. I had Brandon Adams on my show 3 weeks ago on the AC Sports Live show, and he said, I like to be in there with my opponent, but then I can't lock in knowing there's a referee right there, like knowing that he has the call or the say to interrupt. And we watched the women's Final Four, and the moment to see if Paige Beckers was going to show up versus Iowa, we were robbed of that by a illegal screen call. And I asked Rodney Sauce and AC from LA, would they have called that if they were, he would say, well, I'm not sure if I'm taking the words out of Rodney's mouth, but he's like, if you call it consistently earlier in the game, you can call it. But if you haven't called those same type of calls, and it goes back to your point, the inconsistency is what bothers me, knowing that they could jump up and make a call. So I would rather them, I guess that's the next part of the question, would you rather there be swallowed whistles or consistent tic-tac whistles? I think if you tic-tac early, it gives the athletes an opportunity to adjust throughout the game. So at the end, when it's crucial, when it's clutch, they know to avoid the moving screen. They know to avoid the jumping straight up on a jump shot and not jumping forward, or on a layup jumping straight up, which is very hard to officiate when a player goes straight up and there's body contact. But if you jump straight up, they don't call that. That's a very hard call to make, in my opinion. But I wouldn't know. But I know as a fan, I can't rely on a call. And I think a lot of players make the mistake by relying on a call. And it's just, it takes away from their aggression. It takes away from the flow. It's really like, the 12th man, it's the 6th man, it's whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to go to the comments because we got a few. Rodney's the ref in here, and he says, I like the ending of the 76ers Knicks game. There was a scramble. Nurse didn't call a timeout thinking they would end up with the ball, then tried to call timeout once the possession was lost. So as a referee, you saw it differently than me as a 76er fan. And I thought that Jalen Brunson grabbed Tyrese Maxey, and then Josh Hart grabbed Tyrese Maxey by the arm, which caused him to fall. And then Tyrese Maxey grabs the ball, and then Nick Nurse looks at the ref, and Maxey's about to be stripped by the ball, and then he calls timeout. There's no timeout call. So the sequence was bang, bang. So no call is the right thing. I'm okay with that. I mean, it looked visible. Now, the Laker game where D'Angelo Russell was clearly hit in the head, no call. I'm okay with that. I think I'm more concerned with unnecessary calls than I am no calls, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense. But what I always do as a coach, I try to keep a mental Rolodex, and sometimes I take notes on certain refs. So if I see that ref again, I can prepare my athletes. Hey, this ref calls a lot of holding inside of the line of scrimmage. So be careful with your hands. He's really looking for it. Or we're in basketball. Hey man, he likes the aggressive play. So go ahead and play a little bit more aggressive. He's going to give you more leeway. Because when I coach girls basketball, we're the bad boy Pistons. We're gonna foul you. We gonna get into you. So the refs got to be prepared to hold their whistle. But if a ref was like, hey, or I seen him like enjoying how we play and our style, hey, let's turn it on a little bit more. Let's test the limits to see where we can go with this. So sometimes as coaches, you should have a scouting report on refs, because you're gonna see a lot of the same refs often. You know what I'm saying? If you're at the highest levels, like especially in high school, they're going to get the best of the best refs. So you should have a scouting report of them. We at the lower levels, you're going to get some guys that just, hey, I'm going to make this jump change and get out of here, but they still a fan of the game. So they're going to see it a certain way, or they're going to call certain ways. So you just got to adjust to that referee. And I try to keep that. I even know refs that, hey, he don't like me that much. So look, I'm going to most definitely be quiet. Ladies or gentlemen, I don't need you talking. So let's just try to play this game and get out of here, because that ref is not going to be very partial to how we are, So that should be a part of the scouting report too, as a coach. If you really on it, do it. It's tough because it's an extra thing to prepare for, but you should prepare your team for that so they don't have these overreactions on bad calls or calls that they thought they should have got, because that will also get that ref's ira onto your team as they're complainers, they're whiners. So I'm gonna call more fouls. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So you got to make sure that you let them know that, or even in a game, call a timeout. This is how the refs are calling the game. Let's dial it down some. Or let's say just turn it up. They're letting us play. So I think that's a lot of coaches should do that. They should add that into their repertoire, learning who the refs are and having a quick judgment on how the game is being officiated, so you can make your adjustments.
What about guys like Draymond who know certain referees ain't having it, and he still goes and acts a fool? Like, I just don't know. Sometimes, man, people just like the drama that comes with fussing at the referees. I think it's unnecessary drama. You're going to get called for things. Keep it pushing and don't do those things. Elaine said agreed. It was a scramble, then no possession. Rodney said they know that officials call less in the postseason. Some officials will say that it isn't true, but this is playoffs is proof. And the players who are not used to playing physical are complaining about it. Physical play in the playoffs is a real thing. That's why you must have some kind of defense. Even if you play Big Brother all year long, in the playoffs, you turn it up a lot. We all got 6 fouls. We should all have 3 or 4 fouls at the end of this game. Consistent, and you have to call the obvious. Rodney used to call traveling on 5-year-olds. Rodney would be like, ball up, travel. Like, Rod, they're 4. They're 4 years old. I don't care. Walk. You need to learn. You're going to learn today. I used to tell coaches, you are seeing the game with your heart. I see it with my eyes. Elaine was a referee as well. And angles are everything. From one view, Russell was hit. But then you have to wonder, from another angle, there was no foul, or it was a marginal because Denver immediately jumped for a challenge. Yeah, but if I get hit up in the head, upside the head, if I'm bleeding, somebody hit me upside the head, you can blow your whistle on every play if you wanted to. Advantage, disadvantage plays are a factor too. That's the same thing in the trenches in football. They can call it holding. I mean, you go back to the Eagles versus Chiefs Super Bowl. How Andy Reid told the refs, hey, ref, he's going to hold on this China route. And the ref looked, hey, you're right. Super Bowl, over with.
Yep, but that's knowing your scouting report, too.
You know there's a ref, say, hey, ref, watch this. Yeah, right. And refs are like players. Some can't handle coaches who fuss, and they freeze up. Others get scared and blow too much. Oh, you got to be a little bit tough around the edges to be a referee. All right, man. Well, we'll just keep...
The best ref out there is referee man from Wild 'N Out. That's the best ref. All refs should be like that.
Oh, he ready? Are you ready? He ready? All right, man. We getting ready to get out of here. Did you send me that Coach Raul Lara is going to Mater Dei?
Yeah, Coach Raul Lara is going to Mater Dei.
I'm getting a lot of people hitting me up how I feel about it. I'm very happy for Coach Raul Lara. He deserves to be able to coach top-notch talent. His pedigree is unmatched. 5 CIF championship in the Division I level and Pac-5 level. So he's taking over a program that needs some cleaning up as far as off the field activities. They still won state last year on the field, but apparently off the field they got some stuff they need to clean up. And I think he's a perfect guy for it. But as a Long Beach Poly Jack Rabbit, no bueno. Don't.
Because Mater Dei's y'all rival.
It's our rival. I can't do it. Now he can do it. I mean, he's he's a different type of guy. He can navigate over to Mater Dei and Servite and different places. But man, I could not do it. I would go to USC before I go to Mater Dei.
Oh, wow.
If that makes sense.
Hey, don't Coach Laura got a couple of national championships under his belt, too?
No, we came up short. We lost to De La Salle in 2001. We were number 1 in the country. They were number 2.
No, I'm talking about even after that. Like, I know he had some teams. I know he had a long win streak.
That's as close as we
got. Probably.
That's as close as we got. Number 1 in the country and lost. And then we were.
They've had some really top ranked teams because I know.
Yeah, we had some. They had some talent. I mean, many people say he should have won 10 championships because we had so much talent, but we never really had a quarterback. We always
Hmm.
had a ton of talent, but it's always hard to put it all together because kids still had their right to move around. So you never really, But we've had some guys, Deshaun Jackson and Winston Justice, and all these guys, Herschel Dennis, all these guys that you heard of going D1 and doing well in college. We had all those guys, and of course we had the talent. Mercedes Lewis, all these guys came through there and did well in high school, college, and in the pros. So we had the talent. Now he's going to have that talent again at modern day. But yeah, it's mixed emotions. I want him to be successful, but I want Modern Day to lose every game. Does that make sense? Is that possible?
I thought
That ain't
that makes no
possible.
sense at
That
all.
is not going to work. I don't know. I mean, I can't see myself rooting for Modern Day, but at the same time, congratulations. Now, some Modern Day purists are saying, I saw someone, I congratulated Coach on the post, and they said, well, he's just there for a figurehead. I'm like, he wouldn't take the job to be a figurehead. He wants to go
Yeah.
up there and do his thing, and I think he will. 30 seconds, man. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. For all these young men that are getting drafted, man, congratulations once again for all those young men that aren't getting drafted. Life isn't over. There's a life after sports, life after football. If you get invited to the camp, go out there, do your best. Whether you fail or whether you succeed in making a roster, just know that you are in a privileged few who got that opportunity. So I always love my reasoning of being a Bear was I got to meet Walter Payton. I got to meet one of the greatest players to ever don on a uniform, and he poured into me. So that was one of my great takeaways from my short stint in the NFL. So go there, soak up some more knowledge. Don't spend your money on crazy stuff. Go there, do what you gotta do. And if it don't work out, man, there's life after football.
There it is. There it was. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all. We will see you next time on the 1585 show. That's Mac, I'm AC, and we out.